to do a podcast. I can't really watch that right now, my man. But
you're right. We can't watch that because we are in the legendary League of Legends podcast for the summer split.
2020, baby. Summer split. We're back.
We're back. And I got some pretty big news for the show. We are now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor FM. If you want to find us now.
That's three whole places outside of the Twitch and the YouTube, baby. That's 5 places
I think you
total.
can go to.
Yep. You can just head straight over to either platform that you'd like.
Either implies too.
You're right. You are right.
If you want to see all the platforms we're on, you can go to anchor.fm/LLoLP, and you can see everything there. And go wherever you get your podcast.
I like that our initialism is so complicated. Even you stumbled over it. Hell yeah, brother.
I currently only have some episodes up. This week I should finish putting up all of the episodes, including this one, and then next week will 100% be released as soon as I upload this one, basically. So that should be easy.
Yeah, I almost told a full lie about other content we were going to start producing, and I'm glad I caught myself. I was about to make a joke about our new Patreon and Patreon specific content.
Hell yeah. OnlyFans coming soon.
Yeah, Heyman got the OnlyFans for the show. You can find that. It's all bald-headed pics, just the top of the scalp, baby.
Don't worry, let me just bring it up in the incognito.
If you want it on
Google, you can see it in my glasses.
If you want it on Google Podcasts, it's pending at the moment. I gotta figure out what's up with that one. I'll be trying to add any more popular services. If you want on something else, just like tweet at me or put it in the comments of the video or whatever. That's the show's announcements. Let's talk about some League of Legends.
Oh man, y'all ready to tear into this? Y'all ready to? I didn't even get that fucking.
So let's get a little bit of this catch up. We haven't been
Fucked up that water bottle. Fucked up that water bottle real bad. I put it on my desk. It fell over. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
We haven't had a show. Hang on. Let's get back talking about this. We haven't had a show in 6 weeks because they canceled MSI and we didn't get to talk about that. So what have we been doing?
We did think about having a show where we just sat in silence, staring at our cameras for an hour and a half, not doing any other tasks as a sort of memorial to MSI. That's a full lie. That's a full lie that I just told.
Pulling a show
You're absolutely right. It's recorded.
Situation, but
well, we'll talk about that later tonight. What have I been doing? Very little. This quarantine lockdown lifestyle has left me basically only in my room and taking short walks. I've been sitting in front of my computer a lot and reading a lot, and boy howdy, I miss doing things.
This is why we devolved into playing classic WoW. Life has become so boring.
I always played WoW, but
I said classic.
I know. I was getting to it anyway.
I went even deeper to Phantasy Star Online 2.
I just don't understand.
See, we're
the
just
choices
wasting.
You make.
We're wasting our time over here. Haymon's just like burning.
But
money.
At least we are. We're like at least we're playing with our friends, Anthony.
I know,
He's been playing that alone.
Hey,
right? Like,
no. I'm playing with a friend.
Anyway, anyone who would play that game with you, fully not a friend. So that's. That's not something I'm willing to sign on to.
Shit, I gotta call up Nathan and be like, our friendship over.
You let me play this game? You're not a friend. You're a bad man. You're a bad man who I don't want to talk to.
Oh, shit, dog. Alright. Let's keep it going.
So.
Oh, man.
What else has been happening in the universe? I'm trying to move Haymon's camera down. Oh, no. I don't know why it's doing that.
Well, there's a lot of things that have been going on in our country, but I don't think this is the appropriate place to talk about.
This is not that kind of podcast.
No, I do not want to. We're too many jokes, and I don't want to do a disservice to it. So we're gonna blow past that. And
right.
Heymon, how has that awful game been? Valorant's back. I've been playing a little bit of that since it got back. But anyway, let's just talk about fucking League of Legends, the LCS, baby.
Well, that is something I've been doing. I like Valorant. Just not to get into Valorant, but I enjoyed my time playing it in the beta. I haven't had much time to play it now.
I like the new map and I like the new game mode.
I'm still learning the new map. It feels more like a CSGO map.
that it feels like the most CS:GO map. I'm still learning it, but I do like it, and I do like the new game mode a lot. It's fun for a warm up. It's fun to mess around with your friends, but it's a lot of fun. Have you played the new mode, Anthony?
No, what is the new mode? I haven't looked into it.
It like lasts at max like 8 minutes. You win if you get 4 wins. First round is a pistol round. Everyone in the game gets the same pistol. You get your full utility. Every game round after that, everybody gets the same random gun. And you just, if you're on offense, every one of the offensive players is a spike.
That sounds
and you just go ape shit. Literally, the rounds are so fast. There are little orbs you can pick up instead of an ult orb. It like maxes your ult, upgrades your weapon, gives you poison damage, a speed boost. Right? It's a lot of fun.
I should try that.
Yeah, you should.
All right. Now, some big news that broke over the break. Actually, I think it was like last weekish. Uzi has now retired. The best AD carry for the past 6 years is retired due to...
Sorry, did you forget about Sneaky and Double Lip? And
the best AD carry
Sven
for the past like 6 years is now retired. He cites health issues, namely obesity, his type 2 diabetes, and probably his back issues.
None of that sounds like it would be good
and
for
wrist issues.
The wrist issues. I mean, this seems like writing on the wall. I believe we talked about before how he had split his time as on and off in conversation about other people. Just for him, it was because of health issues. But when you're taking that much time off and it's just to maintain a level of health, it seems like, maybe you need to step back for a while. And maybe if he can get his stuff in order, if he can, I don't know how permanent the wrist injury is. I know some players have had sort of temporary or like exacerbated wrist issues, but then with proper exercises and time away, they've been able to overcome that. If that's what he's got, awesome. But if not, it's sad to see him go, but he had a hell of a career. That's for goddamn sure. He really was one of the best AD carries in the game for a long time, and he did a lot of good for the game. Really blew it up.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna miss him. He got an MSI title.
I'm gonna miss watching him like twice a year when the international events happen. Because you all know that's the only time I watch anything other than the LCS.
I'll barely ever watch LPL. It's so hard to follow LPL.
I just like
all over the place.
I just don't have the time to watch all of this bullshit.
I will tell you, LPL will be like, oh wow, this team was the best last split. It should be the same this split. Never the case.
Oh yeah, never. It's never. It's so much turnover.
Everything
like
changes
that.
there.
I mean, I kind of like that, and I kind of hate it.
If you can't, it's harder to set up like storylines, I guess, and the fact that it's hard to set up storylines and the fact that all the players don't speak English makes it even harder for me to like get invested in any of the narratives or like basically anything that's happening over there, because if I want to watch it live, I gotta watch it at 4:00 in the morning. Not that I'm not up at 4:00 in the morning, but I'd have to watch it at 4:00 in the morning.
You know who's not up at 4 a.m.?
You.
Me, which is why I don't watch it because it's the VODs. I don't do it for me, right? Like it's not my style.
So that means I have to watch VODs. I have to get interviews that are translated, so like the amount of content I can consume is diminished. So it's just not the kind of product I want. I would sooner watch LEC, but at the same time, I still feel disconnected from LEC for some reason. I don't know. I like the LCS. It's funner.
Well, it's your hometown turf. It's what you've been watching the longest. It's easier to connect to with the time differences and everything. It's right here. It's the region. Some sense of like sports territorial pride that's based on basically nothing, right? Like,
no, you wake up at 11, you can catch one of the LCC games most of the time.
So getting back on Uzi, I think Uzi is probably the best player to have never won Worlds. Probably like that seems like a great statement.
Have you heard of the?
Don't you dare say Medias, no.
You were gonna say Sneaky, but I hit you with a curveball.
I was gonna say,
I said the other C9 player. Haven't you ever? Sorry. Haven't you ever heard of Loco Doco? No.
Loco.
I wish that Uzi
Loco
could have
Doco had won Worlds.
Gotten a Worlds title.
Me too. It would have been nice for the guy, but he had a great career.
I think he has the most. He probably has the most world's final appearances after Faker, and maybe Bang, because I think he's been to 2 world's finals. It's a. I think it's a pretty big loss for the game in general, because Uzi was such a name. He was such a player that all the players really wanted to gun for, like especially all the AD carry talent. It takes a lot out of the top end of AD carries, and I feel like it leaves bot lanes up in the air a lot more, because I remember at one point, I forget if he was on TL or TSM, but LLoLP was talking about how, I think, was it Uzi and Mata who were together?
Yes.
And they were demolishing them. And he's like, I can't play against that. That duo is so good. Uzi is so good that I cannot exist in that lane, and we will lose every time. There is nothing you can do about it.
From like an arch shit talker of LLoLP to like constantly, like when LLoLP is like, no, that man's a fucking god. Like that's real, right? Like that man's a fucking god, because that dude does not give out undeserving, unwarranted compliments. He's out here, man. So to hear that, fucking that dude was really good at AD carry. I will say this: a lot of times I would watch his like when I was really trying to learn AD carry and like really be good at it. I was like, oh, like I should probably watch Uzi play, right? Like I should probably watch this, because this dude is so good that if I can even get like understand a fraction of what he's doing, it'll feel like an immense improvement, right? Like that man was crazy. That man was crazy.
Uzi, he was an international celebrity.
Uzi, you will be missed. I hope you can come back one day.
One of the few international players whose names I know. So my pool is fast dwindling.
Oh no.
Mad Life's retired, Insect's retired. Who you got left, man? How many?
Faker! What the fuck? Yeah. Oh no, hold on. What was the name of that one guy? The Shy. There we go.
The Shy.
By the way, since I've been trying to think of the Shy's name for like a good minute and a half, so maybe I don't actually get to count as knowing the Shy.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Nah,
that's not a great plan.
But Faker
always there. Don't forget this.
Pretty sure that there was a jungler named Bengi.
Right. I want to move on after this, but if you play League of Legends and you don't know who Faker is, and you're higher than like level 25, just stop playing now.
Or do a little research. Respect the history of the game.
Yeah, like come on, man. He's the best player ever to touch this game.
It's not a very close margin either.
No, he's got like 5 world championships or something. I don't remember how many.
SKT's recently had completed the V9. So 9 domestic titles.
Why did you call that a V9?
It's crazy.
That's the abbreviation for it. That's what they call it.
Oh, I've never heard that, but I believe you implicitly.
Okay. All right. So, to preface this this part of the show, I really fucking wanted to buy like hundreds of dollars of TSM merch, but I'm not that stupid. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah, okay,
I didn't go spend that money.
The fact that you even considered it makes you just very dumb.
I wanted to just come in here wearing like the TSM hat with all the fucking tags on it and shit, with TSM glasses and a TSM jacket and jersey on, and just sit here like TSM did nothing wrong.
And then I would have made a joke. I would have made a joke about how you actually didn't spend any money because the merch comes like the team free. Ooh, that would hurt you in your heart.
If you make that joke and I still get the merch for free, hell yeah, I'll take the free merch. for some snide remarks, let's do it.
You just like free bullshit.
Hell yeah. But I just wanted to come in and just be the biggest fanboy ever, because I think it was funny, especially at the time where Thorin was trying to start this holy war against TSM fans, and now he's
should have done is you should have put her name on her face on the shirt and just wrote like free like free.
I should have just got a fur that said "I simp for Lena."
No, just like free Lena 2020. Like Lena did nothing wrong.
Oh my god!
Let her out.
So since this has happened, Thorin has ended one of his shows over drama with Veteran, and I'm just sitting here like,
Who's
Veteran's
that?
he's an EU analyst. He I don't know. I didn't hear about him until the Acadian shit last summer.
I heard
Does he
about
do
the Acadian
LCS?
shit, but I didn't hear about that.
He does LEC stuff with Thorin, but I don't know what Thorin thought he was trying to get into with him on his new show. It's Elitist United, I think. But I knew he was an asshole. Everyone knew he was an asshole.
Or the other guy?
Yes, but I'm speaking about Veteran. And I'm just wondering
who the subject of this sentence.
Why would you make this show? And it leads everyone to believe that Thorin just used the drama as an excuse to end the show because he didn't want to do it anymore because Veteran's an asshole.
What was the drama?
He leaks DM screenshots about something. I don't remember. It's bullshit drama. It's stupid. It looks like he wanted to end the show. It's also not exactly important. If you know Thorin, you know he's an asshole. You know he likes being inflammatory towards big groups of people. It's 90% of the reason why him and Monty started this crusade against TSM.
You're telling me the guy I don't like to watch because he's a jerk is a jerk?
So
wow.
I've
said this on the show before. Not a big Thorin fan. Don't like that sort of content, but
I'll give a quick rundown of what happened with TSM this offseason. So
sorry, Free SM. Use their proper. Give them their Christian name, Anthony.
No. So TSM basically had first dibs on Doublelift in the offseason, and this triggered Monty and Thorin to call out a conflict of interest that had existed for months between Lena and Doublelift.
Describe who Lena is, because not everybody might know.
Lena is the president of TSM, ex-girlfriend of Reggie, and current girlfriend of Doublelift. So, that's what prompted them to start shouting about the conflict of interest and how something needs to be done about this, or rules need to be changed about this. And my number one problem with their response to this is how they focused on on the TSM aspect of this and not on the Riot aspect of this and how Riot should be responsible. And that kind of slanted the conversation.
It also seems peculiar because it's not like that you know, like, dude, like, Steve and Reggie are friends. He wouldn't just, like, totally fuck the guy over, right?
It's not even just that. It's that conflict of interest is also existent in here. Like, C9, TL, and TSM are all so, like, tightly knit at the moment that it's sort of like... It's really hard to make the case that the Lena Doublelift conflict of interest
is the cause,
or is any more impactful than any of the other relationships. Doublelift and Bjergsen are good friends. Doublelift and Biofrost are good friends. They duo queue all the time. There are so many conflict of interest here that pointing to this one as the problem for this trade is a pretty weak argument.
I think even like the bigger issues would be something like the fact that these three teams are so tightly knit, and like the conflict of interest of that one time that like Doublelift got loaned out to save TL from like really like that's a way bigger problem. If you have like the three historically like strongest teams in recent history, or like teams that have been trading the upper echelons of spots, obviously TL had a bit of a rush left for a patch last split, but you have these three mega great teams historically or contemporaneously, it becomes like almost impossible for any other team to break in, or anyone who isn't friends with those guys to break in, and it just becomes this really gatekeeping thing that just allows these teams to succeed. Like, that's a much bigger issue.
Yes.
Right? And there's also just fully no evidence that like any other bullshit was happening, right? Like,
hang on, hold on. Hold on.
I mean, bullshit in the sense of, like, there's no evidence that, like, Doublelift joined TSM because of Lena. What I meant to say. That there is other evidence about other bullshit, and I should have held my tongue.
Yes, so the next problem is that Monty and Thorin were basically throwing a fit because nobody was really taking their arguments seriously. I think it's because they were focusing on TSM and not Riot and the rules. But
also because they're just being assholes. And
they also do this all the time, and they focus on TSM all the time because they're really big and they get them a lot of views. Conflict of interest, anybody?
That's not a conflict of
That
interest.
is a conflict
No,
of interest.
no,
it's a
that's not.
okay. It's
No,
a bias. It's a bias. Fine. It's a
okay,
bias.
it's a bias.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
fine.
bias.
Also, Monty's content is on Cloud9's channel. Just saying.
LOL.
Just saying.
LOL is in League of
So
Legends. The
the
thing
real,
we're talking about.
to be honest, the real problem comes up next, where Lena can be heard talking about TSM administrative business on DoubleLift stream.
Mm-hmm.
I can't defend that.
That one was a little yikes.
There's nothing to defend that, and Lena needs to not do work next to Doublelift while he streams. She probably shouldn't work next to Doublelift at all. But
Okay, but in lockdown hours, it's fucking hard out here. When
I
you're not
agree.
allowed to leave your when you're not allowed to leave your house and you're fucking in an apartment, like you're not getting that far away from anybody. It's hard.
But
What are you gonna tell them to go sit in the goddamn hallway while you work? Relax.
I expect that there's a bedroom that one of them could be in while the other's one is in a different room. But
yeah, but if you have your whole office space set up somewhere.
well, I think they're both have their computers set up in like the living room.
But if you,
I don't know
You
how
gotta
their
have a
apartment is
dedicated
set up,
space.
but I know
me
they're
either.
both set
That's
up
why
right
I don't
next
want to
to
talk
each
about
other.
this.
But
Obviously, they're right next to each other. You could hear everything.
Given their like each of their positions in relation to one another, I would think some separation of their work lives, especially when Doublelift is streaming to tens of thousands of people and you can be heard on a stream, that you need to make sure you're not within earshot of each other and you can discuss things privately. And especially for Lena and the people she's talking to, that the information that they're giving to Lena is not being heard by Doublelift, because that is not something Doublelift should really be hearing. I begrudgingly agree with Monty and Thorn about that. Doublelift is going to be privy to information that he really doesn't need to be privy to, and it is very preventable from having him hear that information.
What you just said when you said you regret, like you don't like agreeing with him, I just thought of that Onion article. Heartbreaking, the worst person you know made a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's not great. It does put things in a weird position because Doublelift probably should not know about who. I mean, you know, if it's internal practice for TSM to tell players like so and so is everybody, so and so is on like the trading block or we're shopping so and so around, then that's one thing. But this is something very different, and it's not. You know, first of all, it was not flattering words to Dardoch. And that could do damage to his career. I do remember at one point, you know, Haymont and I sort of got into a spat over this because, you know, Haymont was like, it's gonna hurt his reputation. I was like, don't act like Dardoch has a great reputation, and don't act like Dardoch's bad reputation is from anybody other than his own actions, right? Like, you know, so like it's one thing. It would be one thing if it was like Bjergsen, right, who obviously probably wouldn't be getting traded. Probably could be moved very easily, but like if it was like a player who had like this really stellar superlative reputation, that's very much one thing. But it feels a little less serious because it's like, well, yeah, like it probably is harder to get rid of or to trade him because he has like not a great rep, and it's not because of what Lena said, it's because of what he does or has done in the past, right?
You cannot.
But obviously, the other parts of it, right? Like, it's still bad that was on stream. It's still bad that was near Doublelift. But I don't know that it would like hurt his reputation.
It hurts his
more than it's
contract.
already.
It doesn't necessarily hurt his reputation, but it hurts his contract negotiations, because he's going to lose money off of it. The problem is they can't prove how much money he's going to lose off that one thing, and they'll never recoup that loss. And to all the people being like Dardoch should sue for loss of income, no one can fucking prove this. You have to prove that you lost that income, and you can't prove this.
Of the
Like it's such an abstract and obtuse thing in contract negotiations that there's also other news going around. Other people are talking about this behind the scenes. Now, specifically on the Doublelift trade, no one of the owners have said they have a problem with the Doublelift trade and how it went down. If they thought that there was a conflict of interest that impacted that trade negatively towards them, then they should have spoken out. They could still be speaking behind the scenes, but it's been like a few weeks since this has happened. No one has reported on the teams having issue with this. I do not think this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine something. Obviously, I imagine teams would probably be more inclined rather to go to Riot first privately before making a public stink out of it.
But even then, it could leak.
it would leak, and it still could very well be sort of in motion, right? Like Riot Games is not always the quickest with things. Not really like most kinds of sports like organizations are not like the fastest with this stuff, but it just seems difficult to press this all on, to say that it's still going on or to press that this is like a conflict of interest. It seems like generally fine. I imagine, however, if TSM does well this split, it will get brought up again as oh, well, they just like fucking cheated and had him because of Lena, but like, that's
feel
because
like
people like to complain about people who are winning.
I feel like people have moved past that and are more focusing on the interaction with Dardoch. Hey, on, what's your take on this before I start talking about the Players Association issue that was brought up?
I felt that both of you hit the points that I would have agreed on. And the fact that, yes, more so in the Dardoch case, that it could have hurt his contract negotiations, having that statement made about him. But I also agree with Matt that there's no way of actually figuring out like how much he would have lost in that contract either if it was going down. I don't know.
So
and then
go finish.
And
I'm trying to move on.
No. I think that's it. That's all my thoughts.
Okay. So the next thing people wanted to like sort of point fingers at and shout about was the Players Association, how they should be trying to fight for Dardoch here, and his I get his rights as a player. But the number one problem with the Players Association is it's not a union, so they have very little like power here,
bargaining power
to do anything. And to be honest, I don't really know what they can do besides bar Lena from participation in any League of Legends business of TSM at this point.
That just seems like a lot.
To be honest, I feel like she should be doing that regardless because she's dating a player on the team, or when she was dating a player on a different team. This is the number one reason why I don't like how Monty and Thorin went about this, because this has been known since December. They bitched about it now because it got them the optimal amount of views, not in December when nobody would have given a shit.
The accusations are flying.
So yeah, that's my problem, and I just don't feel like the Players Association really can do anything, and I don't totally know if they should do anything. Look, if they want to start trying to grasp more power for the association, they should probably make a move on this, regardless of if they think they can or can't. But I don't really like. What do you do here? Do you sue Lena for damages or for libel, or what? Not libel, is it slander? I don't know, whichever one of those, for whatever she did, bad mouthing him, that caused a blemish in his life of some kind. Like, it doesn't seem like there's legal recourse here, and everyone on Reddit who's shouting about sue TSM for this, like, how? With what? It's gonna cost more money to sue TSM than you're gonna make. There's no fucking reason for it. It's a waste of everyone's fucking time. And I'm not saying Dardoch's not do something. He definitely is. Dardoch got fucked. He got fucked here. And I feel awful for him. But at the same time, Dardoch has been shopped around to more than half the teams in the LCS at this point. Is anybody surprised that nobody wants him? No. Everybody knows nobody wants him. There's going to be a very poor argument in court to try to prove liability here. And the Players Association...
This is also not, like, by any means... Well, I'm not a legal expert, obviously, but typically, like, for first of all, it's slander, because slander is the spoken one, not the written one. Second of all, typically for slander, like, you have to be able to, like, know that it's slanderous without external facts. I'm like... The simple statement that nobody wants him is simply not slanderous.
Yes.
It is not a comment about his skill as a player. It is not a comment about his profession or professional abilities. It is not a comment on the face of it about, like, his character. All it is an observation that nobody wants his contract. That's not slander, right? Like, it just simply... Or to me, someone who knows nothing about law, it doesn't seem to be. right? I might be very wrong, but like it's like what can he even do? Right? Like it's not gonna be clear off rip that this is A, harmful, and B, like fits into any of the categories that it has to fit into for him to take legal actions. Like of course, yes, he got fucked. But like you said, and like I said earlier, he already had a reputation. He's been on half the teams in the league. Like, is this a big surprise, right? Like it seems right now like there are very few like teams that have either not had him or willing to take him back, and that's not her fault, right?
Well, that's what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what she
That's
said.
what I'm saying. Lena did nothing wrong. Free Lena 2020, right? Like,
It's a lot of like armchair lawyers trying to get Dardoch something because hating on TSM is just in, and it's always in to hate on TSM.
I should know. However, not even I think that this is like something like.
Look.
Not even I.
Here's how it is to hate on TSM. I've been downvoted in threads about gameplay things because I have a TSM flare. That's happened.
You deserve it.
Oh, fuck you.
You don't deserve the.
Alright, we're moving on. We got some power rankings to talk about today.
Power up, boys. Hit the hyperbolic time chamber. Learn your fusions with Trunks. And get ready to beat ass. These are the power rankings. I've never watched Dragon in my life. Anyway.
Get off my fucking show.
Okay, I watched like the fucking Frieza and Cell arcs in like middle school, but nothing since then. Anyway. Then I didn't miss anything. Some of the Android bullshit too. Anyway.
Alright.
I digress. Power rankings.
Alright, here we go. Top to bottom or bottom to top?
Bottom to top.
Alright. So, we got... Well, this is not the thing I wanted to move. It's also not the thing I clicked on.
That's on you, bud.
It is totally on me. Okay, so... Did you say bottom to top?
I said bottom to top.
Okay, so we got IMT in dead last. Let me pull up the roster real quick. This is their spring.
Oh, it's
summer.
Still going to be their spring roster.
Yeah,
it's going to be
Soaz. Go.
Soaz, Aika, Alltech, Hakuo, and Xmithy in the jungle. Might be Apollo in the AD carry position. I don't know. There's been no news on what they're doing with their roster.
They were running Apollo in the back half, right?
But they were running Apollo a bit in the back half. So, that's the thing.
Yeet, as they say.
I have zero faith in Ica. I'm shaky on Soaz. Xmithy seems a bit lost with this team. And the bot lane is the only stable factor for me. I still don't think they're that good.
No,
and Haymon's the only reason why CLG isn't here.
The thing is,
Haymon did throw this with his...
I will go over CLG later, but the problem is that Xmithy sometimes gets lost in the games. Like, we've seen him in a game where he was behind, and it looked like he was playing from ahead. We've seen... a couple different strats. If you take their AD carry off of Ezreal, one of the safest AD carries that you have in the game, and pin Hakuo down in a 2v2 bot lane, he doesn't do as well. Ica, also not particularly that good. Soaz, like you said, is on and off. It's altogether a very budget team, and I don't think it's going to be able to make anything.
A budget team.
Look, you want to talk about budget team? Wait for Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians have the second cheapest win per dollar spent on their players. That is amazing to me. They finished 6th with the second best dollar per win. Oh my god, I love that. That's great. Cloud9, they won 17 games.
I was thinking more about the money part, but yeah, that's going to be the first half.
I think TSM were like 3rd or 4th. Alright. So yeah, we got little faith in IMT. Matt, did you say your piece?
I didn't, but I don't have much more of a piece to say outside of that. For all of that, I think you guys basically hit everything that I think squarely on the nose. It doesn't seem like the strongest comp, and I just don't know that it's going to be able to compete against most of the playoff contending teams, and then even some of the lower ranked teams. Like maybe they'll like luck out a win here or there, but it just doesn't seem like they're equipped.
Why is Ica still here? Why is DeMonte replacing Golden Glue, but Ica's still here? I don't get it. I don't freaking get it. I don't get it. All right, moving on to CLG because I gotta get these two out of my freaking head because I'm gonna have to watch them this weekend. God damn it. All right, we got Ruin in the top lane, Wiggly in the jungle, Pobelter in the mid lane, Stixay or Wind in the bot lane, and Smoothie as support, and Song as their head coach. Why? Why has this team made no changes? I guess they made a change in Pobelter, but... And I guess putting in Wind might be a change. But I just...
Eugene!
You just don't see it? You don't believe in the POB?
Lane for lane, I feel like they stack up. I have them lower than Immortals. I feel like they stack up worse than Immortals lane for lane, and they have zero chance at anybody in top 6 for me. Like Eugene just looking at last split,
Eugene can hard carry.
He is their only way in. I think he is the only player that is on this team that is above another player in their role, basically. Besides maybe the GG support, but that's a different problem.
Who's their jungler?
Wiggly.
Wiggly.
You think he's worse than Ica? Because you just gave Ica a lot of shit.
No. Ica's the mid laner for Immortals.
Oh, fuck. That's my L. You know what? I don't pay attention to anything, and I'm dumb. Who's the Immortals jungler?
Xmithy.
Bruh.
That makes way more sense, yeah. You know what? I like totally just blanked on the roster. That's my L. It's my fuck up. I'm a dumbass. That's me.
Alright. So yeah. No faith in CLG. What's your guys' take on this team?
I'm honestly very worried about the top lane position. Ruin's been there. He didn't have a good split at all last split. He had some moments, and then it didn't. Just nothing came from it. Pobelter, he did really good in the back half of the team. I'm very optimistic about him joining here with a bit of veterancy to bring to, Wiggly. Stixay, even though he's been here for a while, still feels like he needs a little bit of guidance here. Smoothie was supposed to be the thing that brought them together, or was able to make the shot calling when he was brought in last split. But as you can tell, he's had a lot of times when he just made questionable decisions. So hopefully, with Pobelter coming in, bringing a bit of stability, maybe they get a bit better. Maybe they get a middle of the pack position. That's what I'm hoping for.
I forgot to update the winners losers bracket. The losers bracket, like on the graphic, the losers bracket will also include 7th and 8th place. So real easy to get into playoff, by the way. Still don't think CLG are making playoffs.
I also have CLG bottom, even though I do love Eugene. I do think this is one of the teams, I think the team I most want to be wrong about. The team that I also think might have the most chance of a team I have ranked low as turning things around. And I think that is because of the veteran power of Pobelter. He is actually a very good player. It seems like he was a very good leader. And if they were able over the last 6 weeks, that they weren't in active competition, to find a cohesion, I think they could really blow my putting them at the bottom out of the water and get into finals, get into the middle of the pack. I don't see them as like coming into the top 4, really, unless something really crazy has happened. But I just, based on how their performance was last split, and even with Pobelter turning them around a little bit, it just doesn't seem to me like they're like all the way there. I want to be wrong. I want to see Eugene in particular succeed. It would be great to see Smoothie succeed as well. But this is a team I've sort of tentatively put very low. But I would not at all be shocked. Like, I'd be pretty shocked if like Immortals blew things up. But I would be less so surprised if CLG just like hit the ground running and really performed. But I just don't know that it'll happen.
I don't think I've ever seen a team in 10th place that I had, like, being in 10th place. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen a team like this besides Golden Guardians that 1 year. Where they finished, like... Did they finish 10th twice in a row? Because I feel like that's about to happen again. And I'm not looking forward to it.
I think that did happen. I think that happened when about the time when Contracts was on Golden Guardians. In
Yeah, after his power gaming on C9, he went to tragedy.
That's enough about
Yeah.
COG. Let's move on to Dignitas.
Ooh.
We got them at 8th place, all three of us. And they have dropped the biggest contract of all, Huni, for Viper. They picked up Dardoch in the offseason. Don't know if he's starting or not and what's happening. They also apparently got JJ in the offseason. I don't know if he's replacing Afromu, but their bot lane still seems to be Johnson, and their mid laner is still Froggen. Head coach is Thinkard. I still think this is probably the most volatile team in the LCS, especially if they start playing Dardoch. I have zero faith in Afromu anymore. I don't think he's that good. I feel like Froggen is overhyped. Acadian has trouble competing with the top end of the junglers. This just looks like a real mediocre team who will sometimes land a couple of good blows because one of their players pops off and can carry a game. But other than that, they're just going to keep getting trounced by everyone else above them. They might get into that 8th place slot for playoffs off of some of the raw talent or some lucky wins, but I don't see this team going far.
I agree. Like you said, volatility factor seems really high on these on this roster. Especially with Dardoch, Froggen, I agree. Seems like he's a little overhyped. Like he'll have his handful of pop-off games every split, but the rest of the time he's just average or underperforming. And in like a lane for lane, position for position, this team does not seem like it's like all too stacked. Or at least even if it's even on the like if everybody on the team is like having a pop-off game at the same time, it's the kind of team that could really like roll somebody. But the problem is that volatility, right? Like how many games are they going to be on? How long are they going to be able to maintain? Is it going to be one guy who's on and then it gets them one win and they lose two, right? Like that to me seems they just don't seem consistent.
Yeah. Another way, I'd say, Viper in the top lane. He's probably currently the weakest top laner, which is 2 splits ago wouldn't have been something that would have been said when FlyQuest finished 4th. But currently he can't really do meta picks.
Wait. Hang on. Who the fuck do you think Ruin is?
Wait a minute. Repeat that one more time. I lost you there.
Who the fuck do you think Rune is?
You said that Viper's the worst top laner in the league.
Yeah, I believe Anthony. Yeah, Anthony is trying to argue that he's not the worst. He's the second worst.
You're saying that
Ruin is the worst top laner. Yes.
Okay.
And Anthony is worse than both. No, probably.
I don't. Both these kids. Let's go.
You see,
in a 1v2 top.
Actually, a really good point to bring up. I don't know. Ruin had a great performance as Soraka.
I couldn't say that seriously. I couldn't that.
Let me stop everything. Let me stop everything. Gotta put my foot down on this. Any Soraka top game, not a great game. Doesn't matter how well you do.
Oh my god.
Just gonna contest that one off rip, my boy.
I tried to straight face through it. You do have a point. Ruin is probably one of the people who is contestable for that point, for that position as the worst top laner in the league. You know what? Fair. I say you did get me with that one. I'm convinced because Viper has.
He got you in the first half.
Yeah, because Viper in the first half of the split, even though he was a bit shaky on tanks, he did make some good mechanical plays. And then his Mordekaiser was
godlike.
Not good at all. So you're right. I'd say Ruin is actually the worst top laner in the league, but Viper does come second as the worst top laner. Froggen, I also agree. Sometimes he has pop-off games, sometimes he doesn't.
Mostly he doesn't.
Sometimes he plays Nivy and sits there for 35 minutes as his team slowly loses.
Yeah, that has
been Anthony, but it's his champion.
That's what Tony told me, and then Tony sat there for 35 minutes, and he's like, I can't do anything!
But that's why now he plays Victor.
When he plays Victor now?
Yeah.
No.
No, Froggen does.
Oh,
Froggen,
Froggen.
you
Okay. Okay.
Damn. That's why
Alright.
he plays Victor now. But
Alright.
yeah, I don't see much happening for this.
Who cares about Dignitas? Let's talk about Golden Guardians.
GG!
The team with the highest win... with the lowest win per dollar average. Placing second below only Cloud9. What do we think about this team? Let me ask.
What is the... Wait, I'm so confused by what this stat is meant to track.
It's the total price of their players divided by how many wins they got. That split.
So, like, the less money you spend on a win, the better?
Yes.
Okay.
But
I was fully confused that whole time. You were bringing it up before. I was like, what the fuck is the point of this stat?
It's basically who's getting the most for their money.
It's econing in Valorant. Are you only
Pretty
using a
much.
classic no shields and still winning?
Yes.
yeah, basically.
That was an awful metaphor or analogy, and
No, that's a
neither
perfect
of you
metaphor.
neither of you should have allowed me to use that, and you should both feel bad. Neither of you are real friends.
So, Golden Guardians, we got Haunch in the top lane, Closer in the jungle, Demonte in the mid lane, FBI is their AD carry, and who he has their support. And Anera's the head coach. I have no faith in this bot lane still. I still don't think they're a very good team. I'm just impressed with how high they've rated on that win per dollar.
It's probably just because they don't get high salaries.
That is
partially,
also...
but they also got 5th place, I think, in the regular season. Just double check that stat. That's the playoffs. So, I think they have some good pieces here. I think Closer was a big surprise. We talked about how bringing him in was probably a pretty big gamble, and taking up an import slot is probably not worth it. This team does not have any Korean imports on it, or European imports on it. Haunter has not been his TSM Swole Bros level as of late. And
TSM Swole Bros. Those were the goddamn days.
I miss it.
Oh, man.
FBI hasn't really stunned me. Their support situation has driven me up a goddamn wall with how they can't find a real effing support to play the game. And I don't see a large skill difference between Golden Glue and Demonte. But at the same time, these two players should probably be in the LCS on starting rosters on different teams, and I don't know why they're getting swapped around like this. So, thoughts?
First of all, Matt, I gotta tell you a little something. They did drop Keith from the roster.
Wait, Keith
That's
is
it.
off the database?
Keith is off. Keith is gone from Golden Guardians.
I knew it. I didn't need you to remind me of my living nightmare. This is very rude of you to do. My boy Keith. I'm gonna miss him. But I'll let you say your piece, even though you've just hurt me badly.
He's on the Academy roster now.
He's on the Academy roster now? Oh,
Yes.
I thought
He
they just
deserves
dropped
to
him from
start
the
in
roster
all
spot.
5 spots of every
As the bot laner. He is the
Every
bot
game.
laner on the Academy roster.
I mean, you mean his actual role?
Oh wait, he's just being an AD carry now. Okay,
Good.
that's fine. That's
It's good.
good.
That's what
Yeah.
he was.
Yes, that's great. He's back into his original position. All right, and Huhi is now the only one that's off rolling on that team. Being in the support
he's been a
position.
support for over a year at this point.
He did pull out a very impressive. Oh my god, I'm
Set?
forgetting the name. Set support. Yes, I was super happy when he brought that out.
Everyone
Never.
good on set support.
I hate you and your dumb bullshit off meta love.
That wasn't off meta.
They ran that.
That was meta.
I know it was on meta, and I'm mad about it, Anthony. So I'm gonna call it off meta because it's bullshit and never should have been meta.
We debated playing it, but Doug only had 2 games on it.
I would have swapped for it.
It was the support that everyone had to run Hex Flash on because it didn't have a gap closer.
It's not just that; it's that it was good.
Yeah,
You
X
just-
Flash is just good on some champions, dog.
It's like if you can hex flash and then Q at somebody, you flashed over a wall. Now they're out of position, and now you have your E. That's another punish. Like, and then you ult and then whoa. real good, real good.
Ho, ho, ho.
But if you didn't have the Hex Flash, you were basically just running around trying to grab people as a level
yeah,
support.
The point is flashy stun, run behind them, ult them away from their turret.
Let's not.
Okay.
This isn't
You're
about
right.
Set. This is about Golden Guardians.
Still have FBI. Also not super stellar. Mid laner's DeMonte. I wasn't even really on him when he was in Clutch Gaming.
You're wrong. Devontae
He's
had
wrong.
some crazy games.
He was crazy good. He looked decent at Worlds.
There was a point
And I
where
mean
Anthony and I were
decent.
both like, "Shit, this guy might be it." Like,
He's pretty good, and the fact that Ica has a starter spot and DeMonte didn't is
insane.
absolute lunacy. Jizuke's
I
here
did-
over DeMonte too, like what the fuck? Ryoma's here over DeMonte too, like what the fuck?
Okay, the Ryoma one I will take. The Jizuke one I do not.
Okay. That's what I had to say to you.
That's
Matt,
where I draw my line.
Hey, Matt, you done with your speech about Golden Guardians?
Might as well be.
Matt, finish us off so I can move on to hating the next team.
Might as well be.
Might as well.
This is so funny. Dude, I don't even know what to say. I feel like there's not a lot to say about a lot of these sort of lower ranked teams for us because we all kind of put them in the lower ranked positions for the same reason, right? Like,
Do we think
I don't
that
know, like,
Golden Guardians was an upgrade?
The DeMonte over Golden Glue.
Yes. And
um,
committing to
I
dropping
do-
Keith.
I think that
I think like maybe, right? Like, I think it depends. If DeMonte comes back to his Worlds form, then like fuck yeah, this was a good choice. But if DeMonte is like remember, I think that split where he went crazy, like he was not like consistent in the beginning, but I don't really remember, so I could be really
Well,
wrong.
I
But,
think he was getting Vladimir a whole lot and sort of schooling children.
yeah,
Because
that's
Vladimir
fair.
was super in meta at that moment for some reason.
Well, I think that he's a good player. I think whether or not it's an upgrade is going to be hard to call because I just don't know how consistent he's going to be with this team. When he was on Clutch, there were a lot of games where he worked really well with his teammates, and they had a good synergy going, and he was able to shine with that. I think if they have that, then like we're gravy, right? But if he just doesn't jive with the jungler, the support, all that bullshit, then I just don't think it's gonna fire.
I think he's gonna do good. I think he's gonna do better than Golden Glue is what I'm gonna say. Because the only thing that I remember of that split when he was doing good on Clutch Gaming was that his Kiana was alright. I'm not gonna say great, I'm gonna say alright.
He was one of the two people who could play it at the time.
Yes.
Because it was broken, but super hard. I think it's just a general upgrade. I think this is I do think DeMonte is better than Golden Glue, but I still think Golden Glue should have a starter spot somewhere. Some team has to be able to play this chip player. Come on, it's so stupid. Why are we wasting these import slots when you have these players? All right.
Scrim God.
All right. We gotta talk
Scrim
about
God from
Team
Amon.
Liquid.
Yeah.
Team Liquid.
Team
Team Liquid have dropped Double Lift. The best part about them dropping Double Lift is that that's not the biggest news for this team. The biggest news for this team is that Jatt is now the head coach. Jatt has left the LCS once again, abandoning us to join TL as the head coach.
Yep. Is he gonna be on the dive? He's not gonna be on the
No,
dive.
he's not on the
can't
dive.
do
He's
that.
done. I don't think he's really doing content with them anymore. So
No, sadness.
this is. I feel like the real topic here is about Jatt because everyone else is a bit of a known quantity at this point besides Tactical, but I still think Tactical is a good AD carry. But I kind of want to focus on Jatt because this is sort of a defining moment for his career, and to be honest, a defining moment for a lot of casters in their ability to transition towards these kind of coaching roles. Because in a lot of traditional sports, the casters and analysts are they're a lot more fluid in how often they'll move to being a part of a coaching staff or a part of broadcast talent. Sometimes they might do one for half of their career and then switch over. There's a lot more transitions there.
At least in the NBA, there are also a lot of like former players who were then like on media teams, right? You know, you would finish your career and then you would go sign with TNT or ABC, and then you would call games or do shows, and
So
But I think Jatt would be good at coaching. I think especially the more analytical casters, or the analysis guys, probably have a better edge at transitioning than the color commentators. And just because it's their job to really know the game a lot more and a lot more closely. That being said, I think Jatt would probably be pretty good at it, and I hope he succeeds, right? Because I love Jatt. I love his commentary. I love the content that he made, and I just hope that he does well. You know, he's a cool guy.
Hey, Mon, how you think this is gonna go?
Oh man, I'm gonna miss him on my podcast. Let me reiterate that a lot. But yeah, I do think
He wasn't
he's
on
been
the
watching this
podcast
game
for the
for
last year. He was only on occasionally.
Hey, Mon's, spoilers. Hey, Mon's catching up. Old seasons, bro. Fucking spoiler alert, dog. Fuck.
Anyhow,
Ignorant
moving on.
ass.
He has been watching this game for a very long time. He has been commentating on it.
And briefly designing it.
And briefly designing it as well. He's been a multi-talented man. He's been a jack of all trades, and this is another thing to put into his tool belt.
A Jatt of all trades. There we go, fellas. We did it. Sound the alarm. Everybody go home. We did it. Pack up. Go in.
That's the title of this video. Team Liquid, a Jatt of all trades.
We'll take it. But yeah, I hope he does really well.
That, but yeah.
We can workshop that.
That's just this clip. That's just this clip.
No, I know. There's something better there, though. Anyway.
All right. I think... oh, you got something else to say?
Question. What do you think? Is there any chance that Impact, Core JJ, Jensen get back to form? Do they actually, now that there's no longer like the import problem that was there before, with Broxy getting his visa, do you think he's going to synergize well with this team now? You think they put in...
I think 99% of the problem was about Doublelift, and I think removing Doublelift in the entire situation, not that it fixes all the problems, but it makes them easier to fix, if not fix them. Because I feel that's like the number one problem.
No, I agree with that. I do think that I'm excited to see if the rest of them can get up to form. Even though Jensen abandoned us as C9 fans, I asked not to reference either of you because you're both cowards who are afraid of the truth. But rather, just to see that, obviously it hurt, it was sad, but I do wish him well, and if he can, I do hope that the team can improve, because it was also just sad to see TL fall so hard.
Yeah.
I only enjoyed watching their games because it was like watching a king fall from his throne and just fall to tatters. It was so, like, astounding to me that this team has just won 4 championships in a row. And this is how they die. Finishing 9th place. It isn't like TSM where they got knocked out in quarters because they were having problems. They didn't come back the next year and make it to finals and fight for that spot to go to MSI. No. They just dropped everything and collapsed. Oh.
Yeah. It was the weirdest thing to see. For the first 2 weeks, they lost to Dignitas, and everyone was like, oh my god, Dig's super good now. They were able to beat Team Liquid. And no one knew that this was actually going to be the result at the end of the split, that TL was actually going to be 9.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Crazy time.
And anyone who would have predicted it would have been called fucking nuts.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
Even after week 3, if you had been like, yeah, TL's not making playoffs, I'd be like, yeah, good one, man. That's a great one.
What a meme. XD. No.
Yeah.
No, it would have been Brox is going to come back, and then we're going to be all fine. That's what it would have been. Brox is going to come here.
It's just going to be gravy, dude. But it wasn't gravy.
It wasn't.
I don't think I've given my take on how I think this Jatt thing's going to turn out. I actually don't think it's going to turn out stellar. I think they have a good shot at making playoffs, especially since 80% of the league. But I mean, making like top 6 or top 5. I think they can hit those 2 spots pretty reasonably. And if they can get going quicker, I guarantee you they're going to be fighting for the title. I think this team has a lot of talent. but I feel like Jatt being new to coaching in general, like this is his first coaching gig ever. That is that I think is the biggest. I don't want to say red flag, but it's the biggest thing that I watch
It's like
for
a
right
question
now.
mark.
Yeah, it's a question mark. It's the biggest question mark that he's an unknown quantity to me, and I don't like overrating unknown quantities because it rarely ever pans out. And I like Jatt. I think his analysis is great, but I don't know how good of a head coach he's going to be because being a head coach isn't just about knowing the right game plan. It's also about knowing how to deal with team conflicts, how to grow a player over time so that everyone can peak at the same moment or everyone can peak other players or something. Like there's a whole other science to this that Jatt might not have the tools for, and I haven't seen that he has the tools for those. So I think that's is that it for everyone on TL? Everybody said their piece?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. 100 Thieves. We got Someday in the top lane. We got Meteos in the jungle. Ryoma in the mid lane. Cody Sun on the 80 carry. Stunt on the support. And Zix is the head coach.
Okay.
So,
It's the same roster that they had last split.
yeah. So that's what some of these teams don't have updates, so this is what we're kind of working off of. I don't see them changing this roster though. Papa Smithy seems to have a lot of faith in Ryoma and wants to field Ryoma a lot. We kind of ate our words a little bit saying Ryoma looked like he probably wasn't going to turn out so good, but he ended up kind of growing a bit over the split and kind of performing pretty okay. He performed better than Ica, but that's a fucking low bar. But he was serviceable, but I still don't feel like he was the option they should have gone for. But he's not the worst option that they possibly could have chosen. The rest of the team seems pretty substantially strong for the most part. Stunt, I'm a bit shaky on, but they're still pretty decent. Definitely able to hit the top half.
Yeah. Someday was the number 2 top laner for All-Star top laner last split. What is it? The all-pro team.
Yeah,
He was
Cloud9?
Yeah, basically Cloud9. He was the number 2 top laner there. So, it says a lot to how good he is and how good he still is. He is. He didn't have that great of a time in playoffs, but I don't think he's going to just drop off when this split starts. I think he's still going to come out, and he's going to come out swinging.
He's got to be one of the best top laners in the league. It's him or Licorice for me, basically. And I still think it might be Someday over Licorice.
We still have to figure out a bit of the gaps in the gameplay. One of them being that Ryoma still, when we last saw him, still doesn't really have a laning phase. It's kind of he tries to minimize his losses, or the team tries to minimize his loss there. Put him on late game carry, Orianna, Victor, and then he can actually get through into the team fights, and he can pull out those really big moments that you want to see from a mid laner. But his laning phase against I think it would be better than probably only Ica. I'm trying to think of the other mid laners. No, only Ica. You can't put him in the top half of mid laners. Demonte, Froggen, Ica. Yeah, I'd say his laning phase is only better than Ica's. For Ryoma.
I think he was performing a little better than Golden Glue, and
I agree with
I'm not
Anthony.
saying his overall performance. I'm just saying that his laning phase solely is better than Ica's. That's the only mid laners that I can think of right now.
No,
Demonte's questionable. We can't see it at this time. His late game team fighting is at least comparable to everyone else.
No, I think Ryoma is just better than Golden Glue too. I think Golden Glue had had some moments, but Golden Glue's his laning's pretty strong. I still think Ryoma is doing better. I feel like that's a big part of where Ryoma grew this split, is that he was able to have a I don't want to say have it, like he was able to influence the game at some point, whereas
Yes.
I feel like Ica had none of that, and the only way you're going to be able to influence the game is by having a pretty good laning phase in the first part, and also having good support from your jungle, which I think that they definitely have here with Meteos and Ioma, but I just feel like he did better than Golden Glue was doing, especially with Closer, because Closer seemed to be playing around top side, and bot side was such a mess, and I think Golden Guardians is lucky to be alive, to be honest.
Be alive, Jesus Christ.
For the save.
You know what I fucking mean.
Dramatic. They all should have died.
It's not- I'm
Whoa,
not saying
relax,
that. No,
buddy.
no.
Jesus
All right.
Christ. Like,
Matt, what's your take on 100 Thieves? How you feeling about them?
Middling.
Middling, yeah.
I think literally I think I literally have them in the middle with all of just like you guys. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see them beating EG for like the 4th slot. I don't really see them as competing for the top 3 though. They seem better than a bunch of the teams below them because a bunch of the teams below them seem super variable or super wacky, like comp wise or synergy wise, right? So I think that they're just gonna do fine. I don't expect to be like super shocked, and I don't expect either way, right? I don't expect a super big blowout loss or victory across a long period of time. I don't expect them racing to the top or the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So the next team is actually Evil Geniuses. On the aggregate chart, I have it wrong by accident. Sorry, I was rushing.
Wow.
Unprofessional. Unprofessional. Call me out. Let's go. Get mad.
Jesus Christ.
Show this to all your
dude.
friends. Show how wrong I am to all of your friends, please.
And
So
then
that
tell
we
them
can
when
get-
to tune in live and
Please
Also
come into
make
my
sure
Twitch
to
chat
tell them
and
about
just
the
harass me about how
Patreon.
wrong I was. And the
God,
OnlyFans.
you
Don't
would-
forget the OnlyFans. All right.
leave a tip for the fucking.
Evil
For the-
Geniuses now has Huni in the top lane, Svenskeren in the jungle, Jizuke in mid lane, Bang in the bot lane, Zazel on support, and Irene's the head coach. This is one of the biggest, like, is this actually going to help them trades I think I've seen in a while, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if Huni is going to perform well with them. I think it creates a lot of volatility in the top half of the map because Huni and Jizuke and Svenskeren all trying to go ham simultaneously seems like a disaster waiting to happen to me, and it could adversely affect this team. But I feel like their performance they put up last split, on top of how much I think they can move forward, kind of puts me in this spot where I have to say that they're going to perform better than these other teams I'm saying are inconsistent. But I also think this team might be inconsistent, yet have a better bottom layer to their inconsistency than the rest of them. So I have them higher. But I still think this is a decent team. I still think this team is going to be fighting for top spots in playoffs or in the regular season even. And this isn't a team anyone should be taking lightly.
Correct. I agree with that.
This is one of the teams. It's either going to be like a dumpster fire or it's going to be just amazing to see. That's the
Did we say that about them last time, or was that Dignitas? I don't remember.
Wait, are you talking about last split or like
Yeah,
for the
last
podcast
split.
for here? Last split, we were worried about Jizuke because we were just confused. We didn't know like how good Jizuke was. He's proven that he can be a carry on this team. Sometimes he's a one-man army trying to drag everything through. Sometimes Bang's the one-man army trying to drag everything through. Now it's gonna be Huni. We're gonna see if this is gonna be the Holo Holo show, or if it's just gonna go to Squat. I still believe they could probably beat like a couple of the upper teams. Like they could probably take a game off of like TSM when they're in their best form. They could probably take a game off of FlyQuest when they're in their best form. They could give C9 a run for their money in their best form. But the problem is that
Wait. When you say best form, do you mean EG in their best form or the other team in their best form?
EG in their best form.
Okay, that's much more agreeable.
EG versus like the other teams, like on average. Actually, C9's average is too high. They can never beat C9 on average. But like TSM or FlyQuest on average, they could probably like do something against, right? I still think Zazel, if you give him like Tom Kench or like something that can really influence the map, right? He can still pull off a lot of plays. He can really be there at the right moment. It's just I want to see how it's going to turn out.
All right, Matt, what's your take on this team? How you feeling about them? They lukewarm? They hot? They cold? What up?
I think they're. I mean, I don't think any team that's top 4 could be cold. That'd be crazy. That would be a weird thing to say, I think. I don't see them getting worse. I only see them staying where they were, getting better, and considering that most of their teams to me don't seem like they got substantially better. Even if they maintain where they were, I think they're going to be just fine. Realistically, I think they're probably better with practice time. I think it was pretty clear what their faults were, which gave them a lot of time knowing in advance what is it the problem, having it be a relatively obvious problem makes it easier to correct, right? You know where to look, you know what to handle first, and so I think they had a lot of opportunity to really get in that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't feel like there's a lot to talk about on this team besides the Huni trade. I want to know what happened with his contract, though, because he had a fat contract that got dissolved before this team picked him up. So, I don't know how his contract got resolved, but oh boy, Huni must have made a shitload of money and then signed a tiny-ass contract. Because I think, is he only contracted until like, December or something, or November, whenever the hell the break is? I'm not sure. They might have him on a contract with a renegotiation there, but I'm that contract. I want to see that shit. That would have been crazy. All right, next team. It's FlyQuest. Haymont, take it away.
My boys is going to be Solo in the top lane. It's going to be Santorin in the jungle, Power of Evil in the mid lane, Wild Turtle in the bot lane, and your support Ignar. Right there. Well, their support Ignar.
Head coach?
Head coach is Curry. Right there. They did a lot better than expected last spring. We thought that bringing in Ignar was going to be like a side grade, maybe a little bit of an upgrade. Holy crap. That was amazing. Ignar is scary. Power of Evil bringing it in. We also thought that maybe it would be a side grade. It was an upgrade. Solo was brought in to be more stable than Viper. And Santorin was just on fire. Santorin and Ignar together has been on fire. Ignar and PoE have been on fire. Wild Turtle showed up in the playoffs in a way that I never thought Wild Turtle could have done before. It was amazing.
Wait. This man has many championships. He is like in the third tier of championships for this fucking league. What are you fucking talking about? Wild Turtle is one of the best AD carries this league has ever seen.
It's Haymont. He's tripping. You know that he's
still tripping. Always think you have to pay a Wild Turtle tax, regardless, every single time.
What is this man gonna get his due?
What kind of is it a tax if you're getting fucking dubs of championships like TSM was? They were getting fat wins, fat rings, fat trophies, dude.
I'm talking about the present. And sometimes Santorin has to take the L for him. All right? Sometimes Wild Turtle...
the party started, baby. Flash forward all day. That's my guy. Flash forward on the AD carry. I know all about it. You're just getting the party started. It makes sense. Trust me.
No.
Don't worry about the fact that you got 3 other engaged champions on your team. Don't ask these questions. Just flash forward and get the party started. Anthony knows that. Anthony knows the ADC's the real team fight engage. Let's go.
Please don't do this to me, guys. No, wait, hang on.
I'm flashing it. I'm picking Jinx. I'm flashing straight in, hitting A, and I'm hitting S, and I'm standing.
Hey, Don't you dare. Watching Wild Turtle flash forward for kills this split has been a fucking treat. I loved it. I liked watching Wild Turtle this split because he was fucking popping off. I love this dude. Anytime Turtle
agree.
succeeds, I'm happy. Just saying. I don't even care if TSM had to suffer.
His playoffs performance was stellar. Up till that C9 game, didn't have a problem, loved it. He was a flanking 80 carry, alright, against DG. He came up behind them and murdered them. You don't see anybody else doing that. You just don't see it these days.
What was it? One game on Kai'Sa or something. He tried to blow somebody up with a Kai'Sa ult, and he almost does it. It was so close to him blowing him up, and I think he still got out.
You see, the thing is, you remember those moments, right? You remember those moments from the playoffs, and you remember them in the back half of the split, but you also got to remember when he started the split on Senna, and when he died to Altex Cassiopeia in a 1v1 that he didn't need to take it all. I remember a lot of Turtles gameplay. Sometimes it's absolutely amazing, and sometimes it's like, it's good. It's still good.
I'm gonna be honest. Spring Split feels like so long ago that I barely remember like the exact games and plays that happened a lot of the time. Just it feels so long ago.
It's because this is my favorite team. Also, Santorin has been doing a lot of work on that Trundle in the jungle. I think if they wind up allowing if tanks are meta,
they buffed Trundle in the time since that he's played. By the way,
Yes.
Wonderful. Santorin's here. Great.
Santorin's here. We're in there, boys.
We can play Trundle, boys.
That's it. That's how dedicated I am to it. Also, Meteos gets a slight buff too. Second good one.
Alright.
Oh, Jesus.
Hang on.
Okay.
Alright, let me go. I think the only thing to really talk about this team is how they figured out that they could play solo. Because solo was a free agent, which apparently that had to do with contract issues more than him not getting offers or anything. It was weird. It was more like another Jack Love kind of situation, I think. But what this man was doing not on a team is beyond me because he is very good. He was very competitive in the playoffs, and he made FlyQuest look like an entirely different team when they put him in. If they had played solo for the entirety of playoffs, they probably stayed in winner's bracket.
I will, just to give you a little bit of something. Solo was actually in the coaching position on FlyQuest. Curry and him have worked together on Optic before as Curry being the coach and Solo being the top laner, but he was brought in a coaching role in FlyQuest initially before he got an actual position as a player. And that was near the end of the split.
No. He was signed for FlyQuest just before the roster lock for playoffs. He might have been doing freelance coaching, but according to the list of his teams, he was signed just before the roster lock. That correlates with what I remembered before I checked this, because they picked him up just because they were having issues with Viper, and I don't know if they were team issues or performance issues, but it was performance issues, but I don't know if the team issues were causing it, but. He was a substitute for a while. I think they played him a couple of games during regular season, and then they played him in playoffs. But if they played him the whole time, I think they destroyed. I think they make second place without even breaking a sweat if they played him the whole time.
He was his first weekend back. He was 0-2, and then I think they went back to Viper. But they really worked on working. Before playoffs happened, they were working with him to see if they can get him into that position there. Because Viper, he didn't have a great Mordekaiser, and like I said before, it's he's mechanically good, but sometimes just laning, ganking doesn't work well with the team.
It looks like they played solo the last 2 weeks, or part of the last set of weeks, and he went 2-2.
Yeah. All right. That's my team. You got anything else, Matt?
Yeah, Matt, what you got? What you got for this team? What you feel?
Honestly,
about
I was just shutting the fuck up because I was enjoying Hey Mom Pop Off. I was really I was really into that. And so I'm not gonna lie to you, I spent that whole time just vibing to Hey Mom popping off, and I did not even a little bit think about anything to say, because I was just in the moment. I was just living in that space, and I'm not gonna apologize for that. So, next.
Here,
All right.
here. I'm gonna ask you one question. Okay. So you've seen Ignar's picks. You've seen him pull out the Blitzcrank during like the regular split.
Of course,
Been like
the legend, the Blitzcrank legend. How could I
sometimes
forget? Continue.
sometimes on and off. But during playoffs, in the final series against C9, brought it out again. He brought out Pike. He brings out a lot of interesting.
This is a very long introduction to a question.
But do you think that any of these interesting picks, regardless of it, could put them up and be competitive with C9's bot lane? Like no, none of the interesting picks.
Listen, interesting picks are interesting, and I won't deny that. Interesting picks sometimes feel a little gimmicky insofar as they're like, sometimes the interesting picks feel like, I'm going to pick something that's a little lower on the meta tier list, just because I know they don't have a lot of practice against it, and that's, I think, a really good way to deal with, like, middling to, like, lower tier lanes. Really, when you're going against the top of, when we're going to be looking at the top of the tier list, TSM, C9, people like that, then I think it's going to be a little more difficult, right? I think those teams are a little less likely to just get caught off guard by some dumb bullshit. So I think it's just like less likely to really to land.
Okay, then to put this, if you were to pit him against like other supports in the league, let's say, if we were to say Stunt would be like maybe the lower bar and then Biofrost is a higher bar, how would you say that he's like around where like Biofrost is or around where maybe
I have
like,
no
Stunt
idea.
is?
I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to ask that.
The honest answer is I really just don't know. So I'm just gonna not answer that.
Okay, that's fair. I was just interested on your perspective on him.
No, I don't think he's bad. I just think that I think he's probably up there in terms of supports. I just think that the fact of the matter is that C9 bot lane is so solid that a little bit of Blitzcrank, a little bit of weird off meta bullshit, probably not going to throw them that hard, right? Unless it's like a very off day. Same for TSM that BioLift is back.
Okay. That's all from me.
That's the honest answer, my friend.
That's good. I wanted that.
Too bad, you fucking nerd.
Okay.
All right.
Up next, for second place, which Haymont for some ungodly reason put third. The heathen that he is. We have Team
This
Solo.
stank bitch. This stank bitch.
How
no, I'm kidding.
dare you? All right. We got TSM. We got Broken Blade in the top lane. We got Speaker in the jungle. You got Bjergsen in the mid lane. You got Double Lift on the AD carry, and you got Biofrost as the support with head coach Peter Zhang. Now, everyone likes to shit on Peter. I really don't know why people shit on Peter.
He didn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's like he's a bad coach.
He was supposed to be the one coaching the thing was that many people ran this commentary that, he's the one who's coaching the jungling position. He's the one who's supposed to, make the jungle better. And then Dardoch exploded during the split. So you can't really blame him for that one. Can't really.
So according to Locodoco, Dardoch has been spending an exorbitant amount of time talking with the sports psychologist for TSM, like a lot more than the rest of the team.
Who has been?
Dardoch. In spring split. So,
yeah,
kind of indicative of what the real problem was if the psychologist has to try to babysit the jungler for 80% of his job.
I don't think that's babysitting the jungler. I think
Have
if your
you
job...
heard of Dardoch?
No, I just think that, listen, I don't think taking advantage of like mental health resources is like a
No,
bad thing.
it's not a
I
bad
think
thing,
that that's
but
fine and actually pretty normal.
yeah, yes, yeah. It is the optimal strategy here, but it is indicative of what the problems for the team were. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know that we should think about it in terms of optimizing strategies with mental health. I just think if Dardoch felt
That's
like
what their job is.
the sports psychologist to make sure that they're like okay, right? Like they're still a
Mhm,
psychologist, right? Like
mhm.
my thought is that like if Dardoch felt like he needed that support, then it's not. I don't think you should think about that in terms of optimization, as much as you should think about it
But
as that like, oh, that player needed help
here's
and
the
he
thing: is
got it.
I don't think Dardoch thought he needed that support. I think the team thought he needed that support.
Well, did we know if Dardoch didn't
I don't
want
know.
to be there?
There's no
Okay.
definitive answer, but
All right.
I
Moving on
wouldn't.
from that.
Yes, let's just move on.
Moving on from
Go.
that one. They've brought in Spica, who did a little bit of a stint during the playoffs, and he actually did pretty good.
Last split, not spring split, but the summer split before.
Summer split
On
before.
what?
No,
Wait,
I
Dardoch played out
swore.
playoffs. I'm like 95% sure of that. I'm not high, right?
I swore. Okay, all right. Maybe you're right. Goddamn. Okay. I don't know, but when I did see him, all I remember was that he did pull off some clutch objective steals. He did steal a couple Barons
Yeah,
that
Dardoch
really
played all
did need to be
playoffs.
stolen.
Hey, I'm not making me
Stardock played
doubt
all of
myself.
playoffs.
Don't know why you
I'm
thought Spica played. Spica played last summer when Katie and had a girlfriend issue with Sven.
Oh no, last summer. Okay. All right. From what I remember of Spica, he did actually have like some good objective control. He did actually manage to steal a few Barons back in last summer. Okay. So I'm also looking forward to him getting this opportunity in the jungle
Yeah,
to
me
start in the
too.
jungle position. He's got a lot of veterans around him. You got Biofrost, you got Double Lift, you have Erickson. So I really hope that maybe they can mold him into a really good jungler and maybe exactly what they need for the team. That's what I want to see.
I
Broken Blade, as you guys know, I'm not super hyped on. I think he's good. That's it. I felt very sad sometimes watching his Rumble. That was it was the one Rumble game. I didn't like it. Um
man,
but otherwise, he also pulled out a secret Kiana game which he dominated on, if I remember correctly as well.
That was the Kiana top was something that I never want to see again because it's so degenerative. Oh,
But did it work?
it doesn't matter if it works; it's still degenerative.
Is it more degenerative? I'm gonna keep asking questions this way. All right. Anyhow, moving on. And Doublelift and Bio are back. You know the duos here. All right. It's probably
BioLift
gonna
is
be.
in it.
Yep. It's probably gonna become a more dragon, maybe bot lane focused team because Doublelift has that clear voice, that shot calling voice for what he wants done. Um, so I would not be surprised if they started playing more around dragons. They're probably still going to be playing for late game now. That's been one thing that they've always tried doing. Last split, when the early game wasn't working out, it's the strategy that they moved to. Just pick as many late game tools as you can have so that you can get a win, right? So that was completely tangential. I don't know where I was going with that one.
I
I'm
don't know.
lost, fellas. Take me
We're
home.
talking about these team players and their.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna put my piece in now because Amon's just been going for way too long. I got TSM on second because it feels like they upgraded all around. BioLift was one of the best buy lanes ever in North America. And if they can maintain even a fraction of what they used to have, they're going to be easily in contention for best or second best bot lane, really against C9's bot lane. And that just feels like a massive fucking upgrade, right? Because it's just like the best they ever had, basically. And so I think that this team is going to have a pretty easy time. If Doublelift stays focused and doesn't complain about how splits don't matter or some bullshit, which I know Anthony doesn't like, but this is the summer split where it really does matter, no matter who you are. I think if Doublelift really puts in the work, then this bot lane is going to have really big potential, and a lot of people are going to have a lot of problems beating it if they're not if they're not one of the other best bot lanes, right?
If
Sven
they're
and
not
Vulcan.
Sven and Vulcan, that's basically
Yeah.
it.
That's what I meant.
Oh man.
So, I think that Spica is an upgrade, not because he is mechanically a better jungler or like his macro is better or anything. It's nothing gameplay wise. I think it is purely a team atmosphere thing, where now all of the laners can more focus on becoming better laners instead of having to handle Dardoch for the entire split. Like that seemed to be a big. What does it mean when you stop something from happening? Inhibitor? No, inhibitor means you're helping something. Yeah, hindrance. It was a big hindrance for them to have Dardoch on the team. It seemed to stunt a lot of the progression the team could have had together. And I think bringing in Double Lift to work with Biofrost is a great moment because Double Lift is pretty motivated right now after getting basically kicked off of TL. If you want to look, if you want to look at it as a mutual breakup, go on ahead. But TL kicked him out. 4 of the other people stayed. He left. Just saying. So he's pissed off, and if they come back in and start smashing, it is going to be amazing. It will be one of the best storylines you've heard in a long time of League of Legends, and I'm just excited to see TSM dominate. If TSM fails, though, I'm real sad. I might cancel the show. Maybe. I don't know. We'll think about it.
I would not let it happen.
Oh, he's just to make my pain
drag
public.
you back.
I might just try to cancel the show to make him do it.
Oh shit.
I will show up at your doorstep, ready.
That
I'll
5
knock on the front door. Your mom will answer, then I'll sneak in the back. No,
I'll sneak in the back.
no one will see it coming. I'll show up behind you. I'll just whisper, "Do the fucking show." Anyway, I'm.
I look at my door.
All right,
I was
all
coming in your door, baby. I'm up
that's
to
fair.
the floorboards. I'm at the wall. I'm gonna be the Kool-Aid man, busting through shit, breaking shit, shouting. Cloud9.
Everyone's hyping TSM. We got one team left that no one can say anything bad about because their name is Cloud9. Matt, give us the breakdown.
Give us the breakdown. Nothing changed.
I just run them down. Come on, dude.
All right. Fine. God damn it. Why do I have to tell you something you already fucking know? Whatever.
Because we're on a show.
I know, dude. I'm just being bitter.
Viewers at home,
shut the fuck up. Okay. Top lane, we got Licorice. Jungle, we got good old Blabber, aka Blabberfish, aka the God. Mid lane, we have Nisky, aka the other God. I forgot to mention Licorice is also known as the God, as is the AD carries Ven, and Vulcan support. Again, this team, Reaper didn't coach. Head coach Reaper, one of the best coaches ever. He's fucking crazy good, I guess. I don't know why, but he is. The point is, this team was dominant last split. They worked extremely well as a team. They also worked extremely well individually in individual matchups in their sort of head-to-head roll-for-rolls. Again, as I said earlier about some of the when we were talking about some of the other teams, there haven't been a huge amount of what seem like upgrades. There have been a few sort of like lateral moves or moving people around that might bump someone up 1 or 2 spots. But outside of this double lift addition to TSM, it does not appear to me to be there for there to be any other team that has made big enough moves to get to where to get to where C9 was. I do think with the CSM move, it'll be a much more competitive series when they play each other in a regular season, and if they meet in the finals or playoffs or something. But this team is still probably best or second best bot lane. They've still got basically people who are the best or second best in all of the roles, and unless something really drastic happened that I just wouldn't foresee, then I cannot imagine the fall off, right? It just seems deeply unlikely.
Yeah, they're the all-pro team. You can't really take it away from them, and they only lost two games overall, and one game in playoffs, one game to TSM during the regular split.
It's nuts.
That was it. That was crazy, and I think that was like the highest winning percentage that was there for like an entire split. Right, it like beat TSM's last record, which was 17-1 during the normals. Actually, no, I forget. What was TSM's previous record, Anthony?
When? Oh, 17-0?
When they 17
The 17-0 record?
they did the 17
The most winningest split ever? That one?
I think that one was beat out.
I don't
still
know.
one.
Because there's 17-1, not 17-2.
17-2 was only because of the
I know.
playoffs.
I don't know. I think Anthony's right, but I don't want to fact check it or think about it. So just keep talking about C9 and tell me why my boys are gods.
Oh my god. The way that they actually play around, they only lost to TSM once because they drafted an early game team and they just didn't make it. They just let the game go on too long. That was the only reason they lost that one. Blabber's been overperforming. Well, I can't say he's overperforming anymore. Blabber's just been performing. That's it. He's won MVP of the split, and he just popped off in a way that nobody thought Blabber could, except for everyone on Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
I
Jack
think
really was happy about it.
What losing that game?
No, Jack was really happy with Blabber. Apparently, he went on a podcast, I believe I Will Dominates, and he was talking about why he picked Blabber over Svenskeren, and it was because Svenskeren wanted to go, and Blabber actually wanted to stay here and work.
Well, I forget. I'm trying to remember what exactly happened there, but Svenskeren had a lot of conditions for him to stay on the team, and Blabber was more into the like the mindset of the team, and that's why he kind of told Svenskeren to go find another team instead of staying on C9.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's the wrong move, regardless, but I don't know. There seemed to be basically two factions within Cloud9, maybe even three, because it seemed like Svenskeren was a bit alone, but the bot lane was really ostracized, and the two solo laners seemed to just kind of have a lot more say than they maybe should have. It was such a weird dynamic coming off of summer last year. It is just, it's hard to explain exactly what was going on with them.
But they wrapped it up real nice this split.
Oh yeah. No one can say Jack made that wrong of a move, considering they went 17-1 and had a 3-0 final.
Mm-hmm.
That team looked crazy, and I'm sad they didn't get to go to MSI.
I'm also sad they didn't go to MSI.
Oh, I hope they can keep looking that crazy until Worlds. I hope Worlds happens. I don't want crowds. I just want to see Worlds happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, would you be mad if C9 and not TSM were the first NA team to win Worlds?
I don't know how mad I would really be. It's hard to be mad if your team shits the fucking bed. I'd just be glad an NA team won Worlds so people can shut the fuck up about NA being a shit region. And
but then all you would ever, but then all you would ever hear from me is about how
Cloud9
won Worlds.
You're not wrong. That might alone be the deciding factor as to whether or not I hate you for the rest of my life after that happens. Just saying.
You already hate me.
Oh, fair.
Oh, fair. All right.
Okay, I think that'll do it for our power rankings.
It will.
If you got your own power rankings, share them with us somewhere. I don't know what's.
We'll tell you why you're wrong or why C9 is the best team, and I'll be your best. No.
And you know what? If you think we're wrong, go ahead and tell us. Share, blast us on social media. Show your friends how
blast Anthony on social
wrong.
media.
No. All of us, every single one of us.
I don't want to get involved in this.
Don't worry, my phone number is 973.
I don't like anything, though. I don't like talking to people.
So please, whatever you do, don't make fun of us for being wrong. That's the opposite of what we need to happen. We got to have a nice, calm discussion, and don't show this to thousands of people. Don't do that. Okay, has the reverse psychology worked? I put the cut before that.
Not if you don't. Not if you just
no, because I'm gonna clip out the power ranking section, and then I'm putting the cut right before I go into the reverse psychology.
Okay.
Trust me.
Alright.
It'll work. It'll work. Trust me. Unit placed right in your hands. Alright, so we got the power rank. He's got the picks for next week coming up next. Alright.
Mhm.
Matt, do you want to put us through these?
No, but I
No?
will.
Hey.
Do you have them up on the stream? Do you have the assets up?
Yes, that's up. It's also in the notes.
Sorry, the power
Not-
rankings? Do you mean
not-
the predictions?
No,
predictions. I meant the
yeah, week
predictions.
one
Okay.
prediction.
Yeah, I was very confused. I was like, we already did that, bro.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna go top to bottom. First match of the week, we're looking at 100 Thieves versus Evil Geniuses. Now, I have picked Evil Geniuses. Haymon has picked 100 Thieves. I'm gonna let Haymon defend his poor decision making. Jump in here, champ.
Well, last split isn't so poor, but okay.
Once again, we don't really know which EG is going to show up. Hopefully, it's the good one. If it's the good one, 100 teams in a pretty bad position and up for a pretty bad fight. But the thing is that 100 Thieves, like during their playoffs performance during the back half of the split, I was really happy with how Ryoma was starting to perform. I was happy that Meteos wasn't just getting murked in this jungle. That was a very sad time to watch for Meteos on Gragas. And Someday, still a crazy performer, right? I will say Someday every time can beat Huni. Someday every time beats Huni. It's either he can handle him, alright?
Look,
That's
okay, hang on.
where my faith is coming from.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: the only way that EG lose this game is if Someday can destroy Huni so badly that he also destroys the mid laner, and I don't see that happening.
Okay, but I do think that. Wait, hold on. Do you think that Cody-sun and Stunt would lose out against Bang and Zazel? Because I think they're pretty even lanes. That's the one thing.
I think Bang and Zazel should win out.
Okay, so my biggest question for whether or not they're going to win this game is how Meteos and Ryoma as a duo perform against Jizuke and Sunskaren.
Sure.
And
I don't disagree. I think mid jungle synergy is like the #1 way to win League of Legends.
yeah,
I agree.
unless Someday just clutches it. Oh my god, I would be happy if Someday opens up swinging right at the beginning of the split.
Okay.
Mhm.
Matt, what's the next match?
What is the next fucking match? That's a great question. The next match, FlyQuest versus Cloud9. I believe these are 2 Friday games, right, Anthony?
Yes, these are the 2 Friday games. They've moved
2
Monday
Friday
Night
games.
League.
So, FlyQuest versus Cloud9. Anthony and I, again, have Cloud9 and Haymon as the primary dissenter. I'm going to force to defend himself. This is gonna... yeah. So, explain yourself, you coward.
I will always explain myself. Alright, first of all, FlyQuest are my boys. I can never go against... Well, actually, I can go against them sometimes. But in this matchup, I do think that...
If there was any matchup to go against them, it's this one.
Yes!
You're gonna do some dumbass shit.
No.
And you're gonna call like fucking like IMT against FlyQuest. It's gonna work, and I'm gonna be pissed at you.
Hey, called
Do you know what
CLG
would
over
be
IMT.
the thing that would make you even angrier is if it worked.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
anyhow.
defend your FlyQuest over C9 pick, you fucking meme lord.
This is once again a repeat of the playoffs. It's not a series. It's just the best of one. But hopefully Ignar's been in the lab. He's been in there. He's
In the
been
lab,
working
dude.
on some picks.
He's got the secret tech, dude.
That's what he developed.
Ignar has achieved the forbidden tech. No.
You say that, but Ignar, every single split he has worked as a professional League of Legends player
At last,
has
the
come out
forbidden
with
tech.
something.
The forbidden tech. Glacial augment Ezreal support. I've ascended.
You say that, and then it's gonna appear in that game, and you're gonna be
I
like,
hope to God he picks fucking Glacial Augment Ezreal support. That means I get to pick it in solo queue and say Ignar did it. And then I get to int. But I won't get banned. And C9 will get the dub. Continue.
Okay, so I'm really looking forward to what Ignar is bringing out here. I want to see how Solo performs against Licorice if him and his squad, him and the rest of the squad can come out there. And I really hope, for God's sake, that Turtle doesn't start slow. I don't want Turtle to be down for 2 weeks and then come back later. I want to see Turtle in form tomorrow on Friday.
That's a long-winded way to say I want them to.
You're right. I want them to. I want to see a competitive game from FlyQuest.
But Hamon, this wasn't the picks aren't about what you want. It's about what you think.
And I will always, in my heart of hearts. No, that's some bullshit. But yes, I think that FlyQuest actually may have like a slimmer of hope if for some reason C9's off their game and because Ignar is going to be labbing. Right. I don't think after that playoffs loss they're going to be just satisfied with like doing with a mediocre performance against C9. I think they're going to try to come out swinging.
Okay, come on.
I want them to.
I just don't... What?
I was going to move on. I didn't think we needed to defend Cloud9 into why they should win.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, next game, EG versus CLG. All three of us have elected...
I would just skip the rest of these, and even including the CLG IMT one, because I don't really give a shit.
That's fair.
But we agree on the
enough.
rest of them besides that last one, and to be honest, Hamont, you're high for thinking CLG is rated as high as they are.
That's your L to hold, my boy.
To be honest,
I will say,
I don't care why you think they're gonna win. Because I just think you're wrong. But I also don't care who's going to win this match. And to be honest, the fact that I haven't even watched these teams play, and I already don't care who wins this match, is a big fucking yikes for this league.
Don't worry, Anthony.
Yikes!
I want to come to you. I'm gonna come to you the day after that game happens, and when CLG win, I'm gonna be like, I told you so. That's it. I said when. Anthony. I didn't say if. I said when.
Alright, well, before we go, let's close out by talking about just TSM and TL. I don't feel like we ought to justify talking about FlyQuest and Cloud9.
So for TSM TL, we have all picked TSM. Anthony, I'm wondering what you're thinking about here. Do you just not trust the synergy to be back for TL quickly? Too many scarred memories of last split? Or...
I just think that TSM... I think they're pretty competitive in most of their lane matchups, short of the AD carry position. And maybe TL's favorite on support, and jungle. But I feel like that Speak is a bit of an unknown quantity and needs to grow a little bit before I can be like, aha, you beat Speaka. Fucking, who cares? I still think TSM have enough individual power, and they showed enough teamwork from last split that I think they can pretty quickly get back into it. At least faster than TL, who basically has to rebuild their system. They got a new head coach, so I feel like TL will definitely start slower than TSM. And I think they'll probably end up being pretty close to each other come playoffs, like in power level. So that's basically kind of the trajectory they're putting them on. I just think TSM starts stronger. That's basically it.
Yeah, I agree. Stronger start, unknown quantities, as you mentioned, but I think maybe it'll be a little bit of a tighter game than I would have expected towards the end of last split between the two. If only because, what seems to have been one of the major issues for TL is now on TSM in the form of double lift. But I also think double lift being on TSM does up the difficulty in its own right? And probably more than him being off does. Maybe not. I don't know how bad the situation was. But I think it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm actually very excited to watch it. I do think TSM will edge it out, though, but even if TL sort of falters at the start, it seems like they might be able, with their current roster, to pick it up a little later, and be all right.
Hey, Mom, what's your take on this game?
I think that honestly, double lift coming back to TSM, instead of not being an AD carry, instead of not being something that has to be played anymore.
Wait. It's still contested in pro play. What are you talking about? It's getting a buff for AD carry, next patch or last patch.
Don't tell me that. That
I'm gonna tell you
really
that.
makes my point go down.
It
Ah,
does. That's why I told you that.
that's one of the. Oh man. All right. As long as they don't make Doublelift play it,
I
or
agree.
as
Don't
long.
let Double play Senna. For the love of God, please don't do this to me.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Okay,
Make him
I'll
play
tell you that
Vladimir.
afterwards.
Please make him play Vladimir.
My God. But anyhow, yeah. But I still think he's probably like one of the best players on like every other regular ADC champion that you would see, right? I think the only one who's better than him is Ven. That's it. I don't think anyone's going to contest that point right now. He's already proved it last split. um, but yeah, I still think that Doublelift can really have this time to like redeem himself from what happened last split. I think Spica. I don't know how he'd fare against Broxa, but I also don't know how Broxa would fare against Spica. That goes both ways now, actually, which is the weird one. I hope Impact comes back to form. That's one of the things. I hope that with Doublelift gone, that both Impact and Core JJ come back to form.
Or JJ didn't look that bad. It just looked like he was carrying all the dead weight of the team in the bot lane.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully with Tactical, he can at least get the opportunity to either influence the map, actually have a good 2v2, right? That's what I would want from him. And then Jensen's Jensen. Jensen's good.
Jensen
We'll
is
see.
Jensen. Like
Jensen is Jensen.
Like the Incredibles meme would tell us, Jensen is
Is
Jensen.
Jensen.
Okay.
I don't think you have to worry about him pairing
WoW?
against Bjergsen.
Somebody was playing WoW. I saw all the
I have
W's.
WoW open, but I'm not playing it.
Okay. We are out of
I
topics.
was sending Haymont a picture.
We are out of topics.
We are out of
Yeah.
topics. Anthony, do you want to take us on home?
Yes, I think I will. That'll do it for this week's episode of Linderly Lens Podcast. Don't forget, you can get this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anchor.fm/LLoLP. Thanks for watching. You can catch us live on Monday at 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/NizzyTV2K11. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.
Peace out.
Yeah.